We did the Chiefs, we did the Chargers. Today, I do believe the Broncos are on deck. What do they need to do to reboot, to have a successful season? I'm sure the quarterback spot is going to come up, guys. Taking a look at some of their additions, what they did in their offseason so far, adding Teddy Bridgewater. He's competing with Drew Lock for that starting gig. As we know, there's always rumors about them adding a guy. Plus, they did add a guy, Patrick Surtain, in the draft. They got the no-fly zone 2.0 working for them. And we can't forget a special shout-out, guys, to our draft correspondent. He has a snake. I think it's creepy, but his name is Quinn, the Gut Miners. We're very excited about him. So here's the deal. We had to give him a shout-out, guys. My question is, what does this team need to do to be competitive in the thick of the craziest division of them all, Nate?
Yeah, Kay, you talked about it. It's the quarterback position. You mentioned Teddy Bridgewater. You mentioned them adding an extra guy in the offseason. That extra guy was Aaron Rodgers. Some people say it still could possibly happen. But this does come down to Drew Lock in the quarterback situation. I mean, they brought in Teddy, so we knew that right out the gate, they were going to try to push Drew Lock to be the best quarterback that they can be. I mean, him as a starter, 8-10, does that blow you away? No, it doesn't. Over the last couple of seasons, how has this offense looked in comparison across the league? Points per game, 29th. Total yards per game, 28th. Pass yards per game, 29th. Now, there's some issues with guys being banged up. I know Courtland Sutton is coming back, so there's some additions that will help this offense. But Drew Lock has to undeniably become the franchise quarterback in order for this team to take that next step. I know this is control, alt, compete, but they literally try to control, alt, delete Drew Lock from that position. So Drew Lock, this is your life. You have a golden opportunity to take this team and put them on your back and shut the door on any conversation of anybody coming in to take your spot. Now, if he does that, puts his foot down and says, this is my team, yeah, the Broncos will take that next step.
You know, it's funny because when we do this show, a lot of times we leave the house and people might recognize us from the NFL Network, which is one of the cool perks of doing this program. And they want to talk about their team. And I met a friend of mine, a guy named Sean, and his son is a diehard Broncos fan, Hudson. And Hudson, how's our team going to be? And I have to look at, and you got to be honest. And I'm looking at him like, that's how I feel about the Broncos. I can't just be like, great. And it's because of that quarterback position. So here's what I'm going to look at. The last few years, as we have been a show, Good Morning Football, we started the day I think Peyton Manning retired, and look at the quarterbacks who have been the Denver Broncos #1. This is some list. This is over 4 seasons, not 1 season. I don't even see my guy Kendall Hinton in there, and he's got a game. This is what it's been. Wow. You go through it, and it's one after another. And remember, guys, when our first season as a show on Good Morning Football, I believe it was 2016, the summer, we had segments. They were defending champions about, is it going to be Sanchez, or is it going to be Paxton Lynch, or is it going to be Trevor Siemian? We're still there. 4 calendar years later, we are still spending the offseason talking about the Broncos quarterback situation. And I say it with such angst because they have such a good fan base, and they are such a good defense, and they've got such a respected head coach. But gosh, you have to have some sort of consistent quarterback play. And it's Locke, it's Bridgewater, and I feel like I'm talking in rose-colored glasses if I tell you that I think one of those 2 guys is going to suddenly light the league on fire. Give me something. Give me almost just above average, and this team can be fine. I feel like they've got so many pieces, and George Payton is going to build that thing up. But this year, consistent quarterback play is the entire story. I'm sorry, Hudson. I can't look at you and tell you the Broncos are competing for a Super Bowl right now until I see what they get from their QB1, whoever that is.
Peter, a true man of the people. He will not lie to the children. I'll timestamp that even further. You know how long ago that was? Trevor Siemian we were talking about? We were saying that, Siemian means ape, and we were using that to make Harambe jokes. Remember Harambe? That's how far this goes back in 2016. Peter, imagine if you were to go to young Hudson, though, and say, guess what? Get a new jersey, the one that says Rodgers or Watson on the back. How do you feel now, Hudson? Look, I'm over this thing. I think you make the nuclear move. You try to make it. Teddy Bridgewater, Drew Lock, great guys. Teddy Bridgewater's on his 5th team in 5 years. That's no sort of option. That's no sort of threat. And Drew Lock, we like him. We celebrate him. Does he have any of that sort of Justin Herbert, the best is coming. This guy's got it. Can you really drop him into a division with Herbert and Mahomes and say we can win this thing? I would say leave everything on the field for a trade. Now, Rodgers, maybe you can't land that. What's going on with Watson and the Texans? Where is that shakeout? Can you possibly do that? Now, Peyton Manning came out, and I totally respect him and said, I just can't see the Broncos trading for Rodgers. Talked about how, what's this stage of the summer? It's too late to just pick it up. Look, I don't care if they could trade for Watson 10 minutes before kickoff. You put Deshaun Watson on the Denver Broncos, we may have a team that can go to the title game. I would hate for this legacy of the 2021 Broncos and for young Hudson to be, man, we really could run it, couldn't we? Man, we had a great defense. If only we could convert a 3rd and 6 every blue moon. I don't know if they can. Guys, I'm on the same page here. We're going to battle with these two quarterbacks, not in that division. I'd do anything you can to bring in one of the alphas.
Yeah, it's hard to think they could go shot for shot with a Herbert, with a Mahomes. I ask you, Kyle, is there like an we always talk about asymmetrical content and programming. We talk about it a lot here on our show and how we want to be different. Is there a world where they just are the ugly team and they're successful? Where they did build up their run game, right? They traded up to get Javonte Williams. They've got Melvin Gordon there. The defense is loaded. Is there a world where you can buy into them zigging while everybody else in that division is zagging and it being effective with Bridgewater or Locke?
Sure. That world is that they have the #1 defense in the league, and they are the 2000 Ravens, and they have Trent Dilfer, and they have Jamal Lewis, and they just absolutely destroy people defensively. And Mahomes can't get out of his way, and Herbert regresses. The only way the Broncos, I think, win this division is if they have the #1 overall defense in football. And that's a lot to ask, but they do have some horses.
We'd love your thoughts. Of course, we will wrap it up with who did we not get to yet? The Raiders? Did we not do the Raiders yet this week? Oh, we're done.